What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and I am back with my NBA DFS contenders on FanDuel for Monday, March 1st. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter, this guy right here, at Josh Engleman, so you can get updates to my sim results as we get closer to lock. I'll be on live before lock tonight, so expect those updates around 6 p.m. And finally, let me know in the comment section who's your favorite and least favorite of my contenders. We're rounding out the bottom of my top 10 with Domantas Sabonis, Robert Covington, Michael Porter Jr., Daniel House, and Victor Oladipo on the outside looking in. Who will be my top 5, my favorites for today's slate? It is time to find out. Starting in the 5 spot, Damian Lillard, point guard eligibility, 10,100, projected for 53. The goal is 57. He's in the optimal lineup 24% of the time. We're talking 37 minutes, 1.45-ish fantasy points per minute, huge usage, 35%, 33 points, 10 assists, almost 4 boards. Pace neutral matchup against Charlotte, but in general, it's going to be pretty good. They run a lot of small guard. Defense isn't all that interesting. It's not Cody Zeller. It's not Biyombo, PJ Washington. None of those guys at the 5 are going to anchor an incredibly good defense. So I'm happy to get Dame attacking Charlotte. This feels like a really nice spot, and 10-1, this price tag is going to be coming down soon enough. CJ McCollum is slowly working his way back. There aren't a ton of times where you're going to be rostering Dame aggressively in the near future. Coming back from the All-Star break, that's probably going to be it. So for now, I think today is the day to load up on Damian Lillard. But he's not my preferred pay-up option. I think it's going to be a little bit better to go to Luka Doncic, also point guard eligibility. 10,600, projected for 55, goals 59, optimal lineup just slightly more than Dame, 27% of the time. Same story, 1.5 fantasy points per minute, 36 minutes, 37% usage. Almost 31 fantasy, or almost 30 regular points, 30.5 in fact. 9.2 assists, 8.7 boards. You get a stock and a half. Pace neutral spot against Orlando, but man, this Orlando team is in shambles. That defense is just not what they want it to be. Dallas should be able to run straight through the Magic. They're just so short-handed right now. Somebody like Aaron Gordon would have looked pretty decent trying to guard Luka Doncic. Not happening right now. I'm loving this spot for Luka. I really like paying up for Luka. I really like paying up for Dame. I'm hoping there's enough value on the slate to make that easy. For now, it seems like there is because both guys are in the top 5. But if I had to pick between the two, I'm going to Luka first. Next up, number 3, I want to go to Tobias Harris. Now, caveat here, he is questionable. I'm assuming he plays, obviously. So if he does play, power forward eligibility, but only 7,100, projected for 38, goals 47, optimal lineup 28% of the time. He's a 1.06 fantasy point per minute guy playing 36 minutes a game, above average usage, 23%, 20 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, a steal and a half. Slight pace up spot against Indiana, but really, just relative to the rest of the power forwards, I think Tobias Harris is a couple $100 underpriced. I like the spot. If we get lucky and Joel Embiid is out, this is going to look even better. But even with Embiid in, as long as Harris is playing, I think the value at power forward in this upper mid tier is too good to ignore. Well, this one feels pretty familiar. Number 2, LaMelo Ball, point guard eligibility, 7,900, projected for 44.5. Goal is about 50. Optimal lineup 33% of the time. So we took a step up in tier. 36 minutes, 1.24 fantasy points per minute. Still no Devontae Graham, although he is questionable. Gordon Hayward is questionable. Cody Zeller also questionable. We'll see where that all shakes out. If Graham is back, this projection probably comes down a hair. If Graham is still out and those other guys are in, business as usual for LaMelo. If those guys happen to also be out again, this projection will look even better. So it can fluctuate. Taking on Portland, slight pace down spot, but good defensive matchup. Enes Kanter is not anchoring a great defense, nor is any team playing significant minutes to Carmelo Anthony. So it's Melo versus Melo, but LaMelo Ball is the guy that I'm looking for. He's been a guy that I've been unloading on in my lineups as of late. Does a little bit of everything, scoring, rebounding, assists. We're talking 21, 7.5, and 7.5. I feel really nice about the floor, and I think the ceiling is also still huge. So LaMelo Ball is the number 2 guy today. Now, before we get to number 1, one last reminder, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow this guy right here on Twitter, at Josh Engleman. Don't follow Lofty on Twitter either. This one helps me out a little bit more, And finally, one last reminder, let me know in the comments who was your favorite contender and least favorite contender of everybody that I've talked about. And finally, the number one contender, an incredibly large letdown yesterday, but we're going straight back. It's $5,300 Eric Gordon, shooting guard eligibility, 34 fantasy point projection, goals 41, optimal lineup 40% of the time. Now I'm expecting the Rockets to be without John Wall for rest on the back-to-back. Victor Oladipo looking like he's going to be in the lineup. It's really difficult to get away from Eric Gordon at a $5,300 price tag when someone is out. He's normally a 0.83 fantasy point per minute guy, but he sees such a big usage bump and assist bump when one of those guards is off the floor that it ends up being basically 1 fantasy point per minute. I have him in for 34 minutes, just shy of 34 fantasy points. We're talking 29% usage, 22 points, 4 assists, 3 boards. It's basically just scoring, but the scoring is legitimate. Taking on Cleveland, a team I'm not super worried about at all. It is a bit of a pace down spot, but we're talking about a guy that's just simply like $1,000 underpriced, rather. I almost said overpriced. $1,000 underpriced for the role if John Wall is out of this game. Ignore it. Ignore yesterday. It was bad. You got to push that out of your head, and you have to roster Eric Gordon because he is the best play on FanDuel if John Wall is not playing. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. Those are my NBA DFS contenders for FanDuel on Monday, March 1st. Again, I will be on live before lock tonight at 6 p.m., so keep your eyes peeled. And then we're starting off again tomorrow, process show, and another edition of the Contenders. Good luck tonight, everybody. I'll see you again in the morning.